Now, one important thing before we were to run this is that we change our info plist file. Let's go over there real quick. If we look under the resources, we'll see a twitterme-info plist. So click on that, and this has information about your application. Now, if we come up to the bundle identifier and we look over, it says com.yourcompany. And then it has all the stuff to the right. Now, what's to the right is going to be substituted with your application's name. So you don't need to touch this over here. But what we do want to change is our company name. We definitely don't want it to say your company. So I'll change this to Alan Craig. And you can change that to your name or your company name. But definitely, with any application you're going to distribute, make sure it doesn't say your company in that spot. Okay, so we'll save that. And let's go back to the controller. And we'll close the sidebar. And now it's time to write the read preferences. Same thing, it's going to be a void. And here we're going to have to do the same thing. We're going to need that first line, so I'm just going to go up and copy it. And the difference with reading is we're going to take the values from the preferences file and we're going to automatically put them into our Twitter class. So we'll say tmtwit username, and we're going to set that equal to the user defaults, and we're going to take the string for key, and the key is going to be username. We're going to do the same thing for the password. Giving it user pass as the key. And then we have one last one, and that's authorized. And this time, instead of getting a string for key, we're going to ask for the bool for key. And this key is authorized. And that's all there is to setting up your user defaults. Now, one thing I see is that we have some duplication here, and I think this is a good opportunity to use some global constant strings and to use the define macro. So why don't we do that real quick? I'm going to take the NSUserDefaults standard user defaults right here, and I'm just going to copy that and go to the top of the file. And right here, just above the Twitter instance, I'll create another define statement, and this one I'm going to call userDefaults. And I'm going to set it to that value. And I'll save that. Now when I come down to the bottom of the file, I can take this whole line and delete it. I don't need that anymore. And I can do the same thing in read preferences. So that just cut out quite a bit of code. And you'll find out in large projects, you'll have user defaults everywhere. And you'll be putting in that one line all over the place. This is a great way to save writing all of that code. And the same thing goes for our key values. Instead of duplicating those values here, because we could make a mistake in spelling them, and especially if we had them in multiple places, not only in this one file, but all over our project, it's much better to have them in a constant global. So we'll do the same thing here. I'm just going to copy this. I'll go to the top of the file. I'm going to put these under the define statements, and we'll say NSString const, and we'll use tm username, and this will be equal to our username. And we'll do the same thing for the user pass. And tm authorized. And we'll save. We'll go down at the bottom of the file and we'll swap those out. So here we're going to use tm username. tm user pass. And tm authorized. And now the great thing about that is if you misspell that, the compiler will catch it for you. We've accomplished a whole lot here. We need to test out our application. And in our next video, that's exactly what we'll do.